Talk about your preseason camp. Obviously, coming out of camp, you mentioned that it was one of your better ones. What made it one of your better camps?
Well, I just think the way our players went about mentally, their approach to it, we've talked about being physical and being disciplined, and we had a very physical camp. We did more and longer good versus good, our 1 unit, 1O versus our 1D. We did more of that this preseason than we've done all, since I've been here. Our guys had a good approach going out every day. We only really had one bad day where I call it a pulling teeth day, where those guys were just tired, just worn out, and it was like pulling teeth to get them to practice. And typically you have more than one during a long preseason experience. But that goes a long ways with our leadership and just what these players want to do this year, their vision and their focus. So I just thought it was a hard-nosed, physical camp. I think we got a lot better at our just discipline issues. And when I say that, I'm talking about like defense, just our eye control. That's the biggest thing defenses have problems with now. There's so much misdirection, so much what we call miskeys or false keys that offenses do now to get your defenders in trouble. And we've really worked on our eye control. We've worked hard on our tackling. I think we've tackled as good as a defense since I've been here. And that's a big credit to our defensive staff and how they go about teaching tackling in practice. And then offensively, I just think our guys have gotten better and better. Our offensive line, I feel like the best line we've had since our staff's been here. We've got a lot of competition going on at the wide receiver spot. We're as deep at running back as I've been in a long time, including back in our days at Appalachian. We had some really good running backs at Appalachian, but our depth, it's been a long time since we've had the depth we've got right now at running back. So, and our tight ends are doing really well. So, our punter, Ian, he's continued to just impress his staff, and Logan Howard, our kicker's done a nice job. So I just think our team has tried to step it up and take it to another level this preseason. Just been proud of their efforts.
What have you seen the transition with the coaching staff from the spring? You got a lot of new coaches that came in the spring that a lot of it was new to them as well coming in. How did they make the transition into your fall camp?
Well, everything right now defensively is new and for the first time. Even getting ready to go to East Carolina. How we travel, what's our Friday night routine at the hotel, what's our pregame warm up when we get to East Carolina. So we're still learning some new processes that Coach Landry and the defense wants to do, and then things that we do here that we're going to do and have done for a long time that Coach Landry is learning and adjusting to. So, the spring was a big adjustment for our defense. He just has such a different style than Coach Quinn had. Not that either style's right, they were just different. And the spring was about our defensive guys learning Coach Landry's defensive scheme and style, and it was a lot smoother this preseason. We got to install a lot more and quicker this preseason than we did in the spring. So, I've been proud of our defensive guys. I think they've really focused in to what Coach Landry and his defensive staff's preaching. And as I said, I think we're tackling better. I know in preseason we haven't given up as many big plays or impact plays as we have in the past against our offense. So I hope that's a good sign because I think we've got a pretty good offense. But so I'm just real positive and optimistic about where we are defensively and where we are as a football team.
Talk about preseason accolades, and a lot of those coming your way this preseason. 10 all-conference selections, including the Offensive Player of the Year and Detrez Newsome. Talk about, it's hard to believe that Media Day was a month ago, but all those accolades coming down on Media Day.
Well, those accolades are fun, and you're happy for your players. That just, more than anything, it shows the respect that our program's getting now from our peers. And, I think that's the first time we've ever had a preseason Player of the Year. Now, the real trick is to have the postseason Player of the Year. I was kidding with Detrez. I said, hey, it's like getting named head coach. Now you got to go prove you can do all the stuff you said you could do. And but Detrez has handled it very well. He's a humble guy, and he's a team guy. And so he was voted one of our 4 captains leading into the East Carolina game for the year, and he's just got a lot of respect from his teammates because he gives a lot of respect, and he's got a lot of humility, and he's a team guy. And then just proud that we had 10 guys, which tied Chattanooga for the most in the conference. But the biggest thing, just it shows the respect that I guess our program has among our Southern Conference peers in the media.
Talk about Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. As you turn your attention to East Carolina, you've been there on the sidelines. You kind of have an idea of what's about to walk through that purple haze as you face the Pirate Nation in this battle of East versus West. Talk about your experience at Dowdy-Ficklin.
Well, I was there, I believe, in '09 with Appalachian State, and we had a great ball game that day. Our star, Armani Edwards, didn't play, was in a lawnmower accident and cut his foot. And it came down to the last play of the game, a 4th and 10. We had a wide receiver wide open, and our backup quarterback, Travaris Cadet, just overthrew him, and so we lost there on the last play of the game. So it was a great experience for us the last time I was there. But East Carolina has such a great tradition and fan base. Whether they're having great years or whether they're 0-11, their fan base is a great fan base. They show up, win or lose, they love their Pirates, and that's a great environment to go play in. And they've bowled in their stadium. They've done a lot of improvements since I've been there. But I know they're a quality football program, well respected across the country. They've always loved the underdog role. That's what I like. Back in the day, they were beating Miami, they were beating North Carolina and NC State when a lot of times they weren't supposed to. And we've kind of taken on that role here in Western Carolina. So I think we've got a lot of things in common. But it's a great place to play football. I know they've got a lot of really good players. They do a great job recruiting in this state. They're very athletic. Coach McNeil didn't leave the cupboards bare there for Coach Montgomery to take over. They've got some really, really good, talented, athletic players that play with a lot of passion and energy. So it's going to be a huge task for our football team, but one we're excited about, and it's a great opportunity for our program.
Offensively, they've got a collegiate journeyman, if you will, Minnesota by Rutgers. Phillip Nelson taking over at quarterback. Talk about him, and he's got some pretty good weapons out on the outside. One, Zay Jones, will probably draw a lot of defensive attention from Western Carolina.
Well, we obviously don't know a whole bunch about Nelson. Know that obviously he's a good player. You're not at those schools if you're not a good player, and anymore in this day and time, I mean, when guys, for whatever reason, transferring quarterbacks have kind of become a norm, especially at the major programs when they don't win the starting spot somewhere or have an issue, whatever it may be. There's always a school looking for a quarterback, and so I'm sure it was a great opportunity for him to go to East Carolina, where they like to throw the ball last year, and where with their new coordinator coming from La Tech, that they're going to want to throw the ball again this year. I know he's got a strong arm. He's a better runner than he may appear. You've got to respect his legs. Even though he's got a big-time arm, He's obviously a guy that Coach Montgomery's put a lot of trust and faith in, because anytime you come as a new coach, that quarterback, as we found out with Troy Mitchell here, is huge, not only in leading your offense but leading your team. And I don't know Coach Montgomery that well, but I know he played at Duke. I know he's been played for a good friend of mine, Fred Goldsmith. Recruited him and coached him, and then working for David Cutcliffe, he's a guy that is going to do things right, and he's going to expect only a class from his entire football team, but in particular his quarterback. So obviously Coach Montgomery's got a lot of faith in Nelson as far as his character, his leadership, and his playmaking ability. So we've got to do a great job with him. And then, he's got playmakers. He's got 3 really good receivers. The headliner being Zay Jones, who's an outstanding receiver that can really run. He's got really good skills as far as catching the ball and knowing what to do with it. After he has it in his hands, they've got a big offensive line. They're all 6'4", better, 300 plus, and quality running back. So they present a lot of problems offensively. We're sitting here having to get ready for a lot of unexpecteds. We've been trying to figure out what Tony Peterson, who is our offensive coordinator, has been at La Tech and Marshall, and between what he likes to do, what Coach Montgomery likes to do there at Duke. There's a lot of unknowns we're trying to get ready for, so we just have to worry about us and being really sound.
Look at your offense going up against their defense. Obviously, an odd man front, 3-man front, what we're expecting going in. You don't see a whole lot of those at the college level. What have you worked for offensively?
Well, we're starting to see more and more teams go to the 3-4. They are very athletic on defense. They can run. Up front they're pretty big, but linebacking core is not big. Sometimes we've seen him play in SEC schools, but they can really run. It all starts, though, with their nose guard there in the middle. McGill, he's a NFL player. He's very strong. He's stout. He anchors that middle, very active player. He's very powerful, and he can really give centers and guards. He demands a double team. You're going to have to start right there with him. They've got 2 outside backers in Pratt and Bowden that are excellent players. They're long. They're can present problems rushing the quarterback off the edge, and very solid in the secondary. The biggest thing about them is they're very aggressive, and they've got a lot of speed. So you've got to when you strike, you gotta it's not a lot of dancing around, it's not a lot of juking, and it's not a lot of sitting back there in the pocket. Things have got to happen quick, and you've got to be very precise, because if you're not, sometimes when they have a mistake, their speed covers it up. So, we've got to be very sound in our blocking schemes and try to, when we're able to break that first level, we got to get north and south and go, because you do a lot of dancing and stuff like that. Their speed's going to overtake you. So we just got to be solid on both sides of the ball.
Looking at your team overall, Coach, what's the message to the team going into this week? Obviously, an opportunity. It's not just a chance to go down and collect a paycheck. I know you mentioned that multiple times. You go into every game expecting to get a win, but what's your message to the team this week, and what's the message going into East Carolina?
Well, it's our first opportunity, and again, we call these opportunity games. It's a great opportunity to go play in a great environment, a great stadium in front of a bunch of great fans. To get started out in such a big venue, our players look forward to playing the bowl subdivision teams. I know our fans are excited about it because way back we used to play all the time, and it was a little bit of a rivalry, 40, 50 years ago. So, but for us, we want to go down there like every other game, expecting to win. We're going to play hard. We're going to go down there and play sound, aggressive, physical football. And I don't think our players are going to let the moment get bigger than it is. We've played in a lot of big venues. And so I think our players aren't going to let the moment get bigger than it is. And it all comes down to between those white lines. And we've got a football team that believes in each other, believes in our system, and believes that we can go down there and play well. And if we can, we're just preaching, let's go play our game. Let's be sound in the kicking game. We can't have turnovers. We can't have a lot of what I call pre-snap or post-snap penalties. And I say it all the time, we can't let the Cats beat the Cats. If the Pirates are just better and we go play well, we're going to come back with a lot of positives. It's when, we help the Pirates beat us. The Cats beating the Cats, that's when we'll be disappointed. But we want to go down there to play clean, play physical, play fast, and give ourselves in the fourth quarter an opportunity to win. And I feel like this football team can do that. And but we're going to have to go down and play a great game. And I got all the confidence in the world we will.